Today, I'm giving you the top 10 loadouts right now for Warzone 2, starting off here with the M4. Now, for each of the 10 guns today, I'm just going to give you the attachments. I'm going to put them on screen just like you see right here. While you get that set up, I'll quickly go over the pros and cons of the gun, and then we'll jump into weapon tuning, really how to tune each attachment. You know, the M4 is just a good all-around option. It's got good damage range, good TTK, it's versatile, and look, it's a Call of Duty classic. It's always on the easier side to use recoil-wise. Now, let's go ahead and start off here with the Harbinger muzzle. We're going to go to optic glass, so let's start with the muzzle right here. We're going to tune to recoil smoothness as well as bullet velocity. Bullet velocity is one of the most important things in this game for your long range option. Allows the bullet to get to the enemy a little bit quicker, but also allows for less damage drop off or less bullet drop off, allowing you to be a little bit more accurate. Next up, we go to the high tower 20-inch barrel towards recoil steadiness and damage range, which, by the way, if you don't fully understand weapon tuning, check the pinned comment down below. Watch that after this one. I fully explain to you how to tune your weapons. Then we've got the 60 round mag down here, which is kind of crucial because of the fact we got the 45, but the 60 is super important right here just because it allows us to have a little bit more in the magazine, especially in trios and quads. Then we go to the factory stock. We're going to tune this to ADS speed as well as aiming idle stability. Aiming idle stability is basically when you're aimed down sight and you're not shooting or anything, how much is that scope moving? Now let's talk about the optic here. A lot of people are running no optics, which I don't personally love if you're running 1080p, which is what a lot of console and PC players are running. I also don't love this 4x scope right here. This 4x scope, which a lot of people are using, let's keep going, this VLK 4x and even this 3.4x right here have a ton of visual recoil. Even if we tune this thing, I'll show you how much it has, especially at longer ranges. I mean, that's like, what, I don't know how far it is, but that's got a ton of visual recoil. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going with this scope right here. I absolutely love this SZ scope right here. We're going to tune this for far, and we're going to tune this to ADS speed, and you're going to see how much cleaner it is. Look, it's not as much zoom, but you still get a little bit of zoom right there, and you can see just how much easier this thing is to use. So I've been using that scope on all of my ARs and LMGs. Next up here, let's quickly go over tacticals, lethals, and perk package. Tactical, I'm running stim, but you can also run flashbangs. Flashbangs are, of course, OP right here. You know, in terms of lethal, I'm not running throwing knives. I'm running Semtex that allows us to grenade buildings, especially if we know somebody somewhere, gives us that initial advantage. And in terms of our perk package, I'm running Vanguard. I don't think there's a ton of stuff here that we can choose from, especially since we can't customize. This gives me double time, allows me to keep my tactical sprint a little bit longer. This is Bomb Squad, which protects me from, you know, Semtex and frag grenades and things like that. I've got Resupply, which gives me the additional lethal as well as recharge equipment, and I've got High Alert. Now, I don't fully know if perks are actually working just yet, but I'm going ahead and running this perk package right here. I don't think there's any questions on my end that that's the best perk package. Next up, let's go to ARB, or we got the LMG right here, which is the RPK. The RPK is very good, guys. Once again, you see that SZ scope right here. It's just, once again, a really good option. It's a little bit slower ADS wise, but it definitely packs a punch, and it is really good at range. Starting off here with the muzzle, we got the Bore 490, kind of just slightly a little bit towards ADS speed. I don't want to lose too much recoil stabilization, and we of course have gun kick control. We've got high velocity, which you're going to see on a lot of these guns. Once again, that just gives us an increase in bullet velocity. I don't tune this too much because of the damage range recoil smoothness. I don't want to lose or gain any of that too much. Same thing with recoil steadiness, but I have this tuned just a little bit towards bullet velocity. Then we go to the Demo X2 grip right here, recoil steadiness and aiming idle stability. Once again, making sure that when I'm aimed down sight, I'm not swaying too much. We got the heavy support stock. If we can tune this thing, we've got ADS speed and aiming idle stability. And finally, we go to that SZ scope right here, which should be this right here. It should be far. I think I had taken it off at one point. It should be that right there, far and aim down sight speed. When you go to the firing range, you see just how, I mean, this thing is just, it melts people. It's very easy to use, very limited recoil. Next up, let's go ahead and run with the Lachmann Sub. One of my favorite submachine guns. You see it right here, another very versatile option. This is actually the MP5, you know, good all around. It's got decent range. It's got good mobility, good TTK. Starting off here with the X10 RR40 muzzle. We're going to go to recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. Next up, we jump down here to the 40 round mag. 50 is a little bit too slow ADS wise. 15 isn't going to do enough for us. So we've got to be running that 40 round mag right there. Then we go ahead and we jump to the mobile stock right here. That gives us a little bit of mobility. If we go back, a little bit of aiming stability, crouch movement speed, as well as ADS speed. So we're going to tune this to ADS speed as well as aim walking movement speed. Now, one thing to keep in mind with your submachine gun, this is a much slower game. So aim walking actually isn't that uncommon. If you're in a building and you're just ADSing and kind of walking up the stairs or turning a corner, that's not that uncommon to do. So in Warzone 1, aim walking movement speed was not important at all. We never did that. We were always slide canceling around corners. Warzone 2, aim walking movement speed is actually very, very beneficial. Next up, we go to the Lachmann TCG10 rear grip right here towards recoil steadiness and sprint to fire speed. And then we've got the 1MW quick fire laser. I was running the VOK for a while, but once again, this laser is visible in ADS, which kind of takes away that aim walking movement speed again, or that aim walking component, because they're going to see your laser. So I actually switched to the 1MW quick fire. It does not show up right here. So we're going to go ahead. Let's quickly go to the firing range. I'll just show you what this looks like right here. Good ADS speed, very easy to use. Very good gun overall. Probably my favorite submachine gun, but there's a few in here that are absolutely incredible. Next up, we go to the Lachmann 556. This right here might be my favorite AR. First thing to note is you do not need an optic on this. I am running the high velocity ammunition. Overall, this is just a really good gun. This thing absolutely fries people. It's good at range. It's got very limited recoil, especially visual recoil. So overall, I do think this is my favorite AR. But like I said, guys, all 10 of these guns are really great options, and you kind of want to figure out what works best for you. Real quick, by the way, as we're jumping into this RF crown, if you are looking to get better at Warzone 2, make sure you are subscribed down below. I do tip videos, loadout videos, everything that you need to understand gameplay strategy, you know, how to rotate, anything that I can think of that will allow you to improve. You know, make sure you are subscribed down below. I do videos pretty much every single day over here in terms of, you know, just trying to help you get better. We've got recoil steadiness right here, as well as damage range. We got the high velocity ammunition towards bullet velocity, as well as damage range. Took off a little bit of recoil here just because I didn't feel like it was as necessary. This allows me to increase that bullet velocity and that range a little bit more. We've got the 60 round mag, and last up, we've got the LMS factory stock right here towards aiming idle stability. I can probably go a little bit further if you didn't see my aim weapon tuning, but watch the diminishing return right here. I don't really get any return by increasing this aiming idle stability more, so I'm going to go till right about there, right about when it slows down and I start to lose a little bit more aim walking speed, just in case I ever get in that situation. But I'm not just going to max it out to max it out. Right here, we're going to go to the fire range. Let's check out what this looks like. And like I said, guys, by the way, when you're shooting your AR, I would not really try to shoot this guy. I know I just did it, but if you're using an SMG, shoot this guy and this guy. If you're using an AR or long range, shoot this guy and this guy, because once that is where you really see just how good this Lachmann 556 is. When you shoot that back guy, you can really feel the bullet velocity, you can feel the recoil right there, and just how easy that gun is to use. Lachmann 556, one of my favorites. Next up, we go to the TAC 56, another gun that just absolutely melts people. This one's a little bit tougher to use. Once again, we are going with no optic. I don't know why no optic like actually works in this game on a big map, but for some guns it actually does, and the Lachmann 556 and the TAC 56 are definitely guns that they use, that they work really well with. The TAC 56 just a little bit tougher to use, but it's got good range and it absolutely packs a punch, and you're gonna see that in the firing range right here. Harbinger D20 muzzle, we're going to tune to ADS speed and bullet velocity. Tundra barrel right here, we're going to tune to recoil steadiness and damage range, kind of increasing between those two. We're balancing that recoil as well as the bullet velocity and damage range. We've got the 40 round mag right here, not the 60, just because that really slows down the ADS speed. We've got high velocity towards bullet velocity and damage range. And then last up, we got the brute stock towards aim down sight speed and aiming idle stability. This thing, another one of my favorite guns. I mean, this should not be this good, but like I said, we should probably work on recoil control. Like I said, guys, it is just a very good option, especially it's surprisingly good at range. It's definitely like, that's a good example of if you just learn the recoil, it becomes a very, very good option. Next up, let's go to the Vaznev 9K SMG. Really like this gun all around. Once again, another pretty versatile. It's very easy to use, which is one of my favorite things. It's got okay ADS time. It's got okay mobility, but overall, I really like the Vaznev, and it's definitely a great option SMG wise if this is your favorite gun to use. Starting off here with the 45 round mag, just because we don't have to actually tune that. We go to the X10 RR40 muzzle right here towards ADS speed and bullet velocity, giving us a little bit more range with that bullet velocity. Next up, we go to the Schlager laser right here. Once again, we get the ADS speed, but we don't have any cons, which is why I'm going with that one. The Marquis R7 stock here towards ADS speed and aim walking speed. Once again, with the SMGs, we are looking towards aim walking speed because that is going to be a little bit more common. Finally, we go to the True Tac grip right here, recoil steadiness and sprint to fire speed. Let's go ahead and check it out in the firing range. Overall, like I said, a little bit tougher to use. you know, but it's just a really good all-around gun, especially because we're not too worried about like that situation. Even that situation's a little bit further. It's more so like that scenario right there. That close guy is what you're going to be using that for. Next up, we're going to jump over here to the Bas-P. You know, brand new gun here. If you haven't unlocked it, I would recommend it. It's very easy to level up because you can find it on the ground in Al Mazrah. That's how I leveled mine up. I didn't even know it was level 24. I just found it on the ground, and over time it leveled itself up. Really good all-around option right here. Again, that's the case with a lot of the SMGs. There's a few guns that have some trade-offs, but for the most part, they're just pretty good all around. 50-round drum right here. We'll jump into the barrel first towards recoil steadiness, and pretty even right here between our aim down sight and our damage range. Don't really want to lose either one of those, so we're just going to keep that as it is. We got the 1MW quickfire laser here. Once again, we've got the ADS speed, but no cons. We got the Ravage 8 stock, kind of not tuned too much here. Once again, don't want to lose aim walking steadiness, don't want to lose aim down sight speed, so we're going to just go ahead and tune that in the middle, and we've got aim walking speed towards the left a little bit because we don't really need aiming idle stability. That's basically when you're not standing or not moving at all, you're just standing still. Finally, we go to the Bruin flash grip, rear grip right here. Not really wanting to lose recoil steadiness or aim down sight speed, but we do want to pick up that sprint to fire speed. So let's go ahead and check it out in the firing range. Let's go ahead and shoot this here. Little bit of initial recoil, but once again, we're looking at this scenario more than this scenario. Okay, this gun right here might be a little bit broken. This gun is very good, and it's a little OP. They probably need to nerf it. It's a little bit too easy to use. You're gonna see just how easy it is in the firing range when I show you, but it's got very little recoil. It's got very good range. It's got a very good TTK. There's not a lot of downside besides the fact that you are very slow with it, and it's got very bad mobility, so you got to keep that in mind. But overall, guys, this gun's absolutely insane. 50-round belt right here. We've got the BVM 338 muzzle, not tuned too much except towards gun kick control. We don't want to lose the recoil stabilization or the ADS speed. Like I said, this ADS time's already bad enough. We've got the side grip right here towards recoil stabilization, as well as the aiming idle stability and aim walking movement speed. Aim walking speed is in the middle, but I'm actually going to tune this a little bit this way because I do want a little bit of that long range benefit. So we're going to tune that a little bit more towards that way. We've got the demo H40 stock right here towards aiming idle stability and aim down sight speed, and we've got the SZ optic as usual tuned towards far and aim down sight speed. Well, I mean, guys, this thing is just, it's just so easy to use. It's just so easy to use. It's so easy to hit shots at range. You know, it's got a little bit of visual recoil, but guys, it's just, try it out. It's going to be nasty. I promise you, it's a great gun. Next up, we go to kind of our only rifle. Snipers aren't that good in this game, so we're going to go with the EBR. EBR is a very tactical gun. It's a quick pop in terms of shot wise, which allows you to get that down. We've got the 20-round mag right here, which we don't need to tune. We've got the Husher silencer right here. Recoil smoothness and bullet velocity, once again, just showing the importance of how good bullet velocity actually is. We've got the 22-inch barrel here for recoil steadiness, as well as our damage range. So we're kind of right in that area with our recoil steadiness. Aim walking speed isn't important. Aim down sight speed, of course, is. We want to keep that in mind, but in that case, we're going to go ahead and tune this towards damage range. SC Vortex, once again, towards ADS speed, and we've got, you know, our position is going to be far. Hey, wash your hands, sent me an invite. We're going to position this towards far. And then we got F-Tech Valor right here, aiming idle stability and aim down sight speed. Let's go ahead and check this out in the firing range. Like I said, guys, pop, that's generally what you're working with. You know, it resets pretty quick, so that's your shot right there. But like, you can spam it, of course. It's not the best way to do it. You want to be more of a controlled, like pop, let it reset, right? Pop, let it reset. Right, and that's how you really make sure that you're capitalizing on that right there. So the EBR, really good option overall, and you can two-tap guys pretty quickly. Next up, let's go ahead and jump into the next SMG. Ignore the lethal and the perk package here. That should be Vanguard. I'm going to go ahead and update this actually and change that. You can run frag grenades, by the way, but I think Semtex are a little bit easier to use. So we are going to go ahead and jump over here to the Fennec. You know, the one downside of the Fennec is the same thing we saw in Warzone 1. You know, it's just too small of a magazine. It's got an insane TTK right here, but the 45-round mag makes it a little bit tougher to use. Great in solos. It's okay in duos, trios, and quads. It's a little bit tougher to use. Although with how strategic you are in this game and how much slower the pace can be sometimes, you know, it might not be a bad option to actually use this, but you are going to have to be very smart about your ammo. X10 RR40 muzzle tuned to ADS speed and bullet velocity, giving us a little bit more range and continuing to give us that ADS speed for an SMG. Now we've we've got recoil steadiness, and once again, going towards ADS speed. I don't need a ton of damage range. This is my SMG, so I do have to keep that in mind. But overall, you know, my goal here is to aim down sight and use this in close quarters, which the recoil is interesting on this one. 1 MW quick fire laser, again, aim down sight speed, no cons. And then we go to the Agile Assault 7 stock right here, tuned to aim down sight speed and aim walking speed. Once again, showing you aim walking speed, very important in this game. Let's go ahead and jump into the firing range here. Overall, once again, don't worry about that guy as much. We're gonna fry that guy right there. You know, that close guy, and a lot of your engagements with SMGs are probably in the middle of these two right here, right, in terms of that distance. So right there, it's definitely usable. Close range, you can see just how easy it is to use. Finally, we're gonna go ahead. Actually, that might have been the last one. Is that it? That might be it. We got the M4 RPK, Lachmann Sub, Lachmann 556, TAC 56, Vaznev, Bas-P, RAAL, EBR, and the Fennec. That's a wrap. That's the top 10 right there. So I hope you found today's video helpful. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.